Hello, and welcome to one of the first videos from Double Nibble Computers, where sometimes 2 nibbles are better than a byte. On this episode, we're going to take a look at the newest acquisition I have here, a Compaq Portable 1. Now the fun thing with this one, I got it at a decent price, but it's listed as dead. The story behind this is her father was a scientist, and he wasn't too tech savvy, sadly, so he bought this, thinking he could run different calculations and whatnot. Didn't quite understand how to program it or which programs to use. Used it apparently for less than a week, and it sat in his basement for the last 40 years almost. So now it's mine. I did a quick test on it. The only thing that does turn on is the fan. So let's dive into it, see what we can do, and have some fun. So one of the first things to take a look at here, it's actually pretty clean. The keyboard looks good. I am missing one of the drive levers. If she finds it, she'll actually send it to me. But this one here is working, and that's the more important one, and it feels good. The screen looks intact, not a lot of burn, because, again, apparently he only used it for less than a week and got fed up and left it alone. And overall, I mean, the keyboard's a little on the popcorn side here looking. There's only 3 keys that actually, well, 4 keys that still look white. But they feel good, and hopefully I don't have to refoam it just yet. I should mention as well, I have a Compaq Portable Plus in my collection where the keyboard's dead. And I'm trying to find out whether it's the keyboard itself, where these ones have all the little foam pads underneath it, and apparently they disintegrate after time, or if one of the chips went bad. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted this one, just to try the keyboard on the Compaq Plus. But the more I look at this, the nicer it looks. It's nice and clean, and I think it'll be fun to try to restore. So let's open it up and take a look. So as I mentioned, this is one of my first videos, and I'm still learning how to do these things properly, so bear with me. Anyways, so we got the top of the computer. The thing with these Compaqs is you gotta try to pry them open. And I've done it before where I didn't have to get a tool. I just kind of reach in and use my fingers here, which is the safer way, because this way you don't break the plastic. And 2 hands, there we go. Okay. So I did notice earlier, and it's hard to see here, there is a memory card in there, which is kind of a nice little bonus. It's listed as a chronograph RAM port. It's 384K, so with the 128 it gives you 512. And it's got 1 serial and 1 parallel port on it. Sadly, there's not a lot of information on the web about these chronograph cards. So hopefully it's set up for what we need. And we'll find out if and when we get this thing going. So we got the power cord sitting over here. Again, looking at this, you can tell it doesn't look really opened. Looks like there's obviously a little bit of play here, I guess, when they put the card in. But look at this, it's clean compared to my other one. The other one was a little bit more enjoyed than this one. It's just my traction of this to try to get it to work. Okay, let's move on to the next test phase, and I'll be right back. Okay, so back to the front angle here. I'm going to turn this little guy on. Okay, not little, it's 30 pounds, and it was really fun to bring home. So I'm not sure if you can hear, the fan is on. And I don't see anything here. I don't see any kind of video screen. Obviously no activity on the drives. Okay. So I was hoping for at least the screen to work. That would give me some kind of indication as to what's happening here. Okay, well, let's open it up and see what we can do. Okay, so moving forward, I wasn't going to make a montage or anything here of taking the screws out, but this one here was really hard to fight, and it was nice and creaky and felt almost factory fresh. So let's move the screws out. And if you're noticing here, I have a Radio Shack, where is it here? My old Radio Shack voltmeter, or DMM multimeter. And hiding over here is a Sanyo MSX computer, the Wavy 70D, I think it is. Can't remember the exact model number, but cool computer. We'll look at that in a future episode. So, there's one over here. And here we go. Now, hopefully this captures on camera. You can see I gotta play with it. There we go. That other one sounded like a ship kind of falling apart. This one was a little nicer. And then we got this guy here. there we go. Whoops. That's the problem with doing it from this angle. I keep slipping out sometimes. And I dropped it. Oh well. We got a free bonus in there to look for. Okay. I just need some pliers or maybe some more. Oh, there's more over here. So one thing with the Compaq, these things are put together quite well. And if anyone's ever taken apart an Atari 400, or I guess the 800, I've never had the 800, but I had a 400. The whole thing was built like a Faraday cage. And this one's no exception. I think most of the weight of this is just this metal protecting all the RF shielding for the radio transmission regulations back then. I mean, let's face it, our cell phones now have way more radiation than this thing here ever gave off. But back in the analog days of the 80s, any little glitch and a neighbor complains and the FCC or the CRTC gets involved. Okay, so I'm going to find all the screws here. And this one's not going to work. Let's take off the little plastic bit there, the flexi bit. And that didn't work. Sorry guys. There we go. Let's try this one. Use a straight piece. Now I know there's a nut here, but I'm hoping I can just get it off with that on, because I don't have a pair of pliers handy. Nope. Actually, not. These things come with sockets. This is the biggest. I'm hoping that'll fit. Nah, just a little bit small. Ooh, but I do have a wrench. Okay. And that one's too big. Go figure. Okay, that was a 7mm. Let's try the 6. In case you guys are ever curious. No. That's the problem. We got metric versus imperial, and of course this would just be easier if I actually went to go get some pliers. But I just want to loosen it, and come on, just a little bit here. No. Okay, so let's pause this while I get some pliers, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with some pliers. Only because I'm lazy and I don't want to find the proper socket, but hey, it is what it is. There we go. You don't have to take it off, it should just slide right out, and there we go. Okay. Let's take a look down there. I don't know if you can see. There we go. Wow, that's really clean. Surprisingly clean. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling cards out, seeing if one of those is shorting something somewhere, and I'll be right back. Sorry, a little bit out of focus. There we go. Okay, let's just zoom in a little here. Okay, so I took the screw out from the top over here, and I have noticed this one is a little kind of rocky, but it looks like the whole board's actually rocking now that I see it more. Okay, well, it is what it is. Let's take a look at this guy. Look at that. Pretty nice. I'll press the RAM chips in later. Okay, let's move you off to the side here. Now the other ones, we've got the floppy controller and the video controller. And I should mention with this, from what I've read, these things are notorious for blowing the video, well, not blowing, but the tantalum capacitors on the video card short, and that causes a lot of the problems. So I've been told if you yank the cards out, this thing actually might start beeping or doing something, some kind of signs of life. So let's see what we can do here. And it's kind of weird. You got the two screws on the outside for the first two, and these are the factory direct ones. So you got the like I said, the video card, which is here, and the floppy controller. You know what, I might leave the floppy controller in. I haven't heard any negative stuff about the floppy controller. Yep, sorry for the elbow in the view. Okay, let's try this again here. Oh, full size. Okay, let's take you out gently here. Here, we'll show you the video card. Pretty nice looking. Pretty clean. 1982. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay. So the only thing left right now is the floppy controller. So I'm going to turn this on. Maybe I'll move you back here. 1 second, let me reorient. 1 sec. Okay, let's fire this guy up and see what happens. So I got fan. And nothing. Okay, not too worried yet. Now, normally I would check the power connectors, but that's a little buried on this model. So let's put you back on pause. I'm going to do a little bit more digging, and I'll be right back. So I've been thinking over a few things here. So obviously at this point I think it's safe to say we have no power coming out of the power supply. The fan is working obviously because it's just on AC. But after that, there is no DC coming out of the power supply. So something's either shorted, blown up, or all the above. Now, again, the fun thing with this computer, although everything is modular, it takes a lot of work getting all the little parts out. So I'm going to start taking this thing apart, and we will be back in a sec. So the first part in getting the plastic housing off is to remove this bolt here. And there's another one on the other side. That's for the handle, which you can kind of see right here. Now, this handle obviously is holding 30 pounds. So that bolt's really in there, and I think it's factory. So I brought up my socket set. We're going to try to hit this one with that. Let's see if I can get it. Oop, wrong way. There we go. It. Sometimes I just find it easier just going like this, turning it. Mini screwdriver. Oh, sorry, it's gone blurry. There we go. Okay, don't know if you heard that clunk, but it clunked. So that's off. I'll put the screw over here. And now, let me zoom out a little more here. And move you over this way. Close enough. Okay, same with this one. Oops, I shoved it in too far. Alright, here we go. Here we go. And for those that don't believe me, the handle. Actually looks pretty good, considering. Okay, let's flip this guy up and I'll show you some other stuff. Okay, so now we have it standing up, and I just wanted to show you these little guys here. So that's the bit that holds the actual strap down securely, right? Like so. And you can see it's basically a glorified nut. Got some weight to it too. So I just wanted to show you that. As you can see, the shell is already starting to come off. There's another screw just over here. Look at that in a second. But I do want to pop off this side here because it makes getting to the motherboard a little easier. And this one I'm going to really try nicer on. There we go. Usually after two of them it just starts popping off, and here we go. Okay. So now that's open. And I'm going to do this off camera. Let me just grab the right bit, which is this one. Actually, did I zoom in? No. I'll tell you what, let's move over here. There we go. So this little guy. Oop, I'm totally out there. Sorry. So it's kind of strange. So you have the one here that's held in with a screw, and the other side's held in with a nut. Let me zoom in there. You can see it right there. Now, if I'm lucky, I think I got all the pieces here. Oh, something's fighting me here. Again, my Compaq Plus was a little more enjoyed than this one. So it didn't fight me as much. Let's put that like that. And yeah, if I can just get that little guy out there. There we go. Success. Okay. Take the doors out. These are the side doors. I'll put them over here. And then that's still screwed on, but I don't know if I need that right now. Let's flip this guy around. I got a feeling I might have to take it off. Okay. Not a problem. So I just stick out there the screwdriver a little better here. So we got the one screw over here on the bottom. And the other one just on the other side, and these ones are both screws. So I'm down in the bottom right corner right now. And yeah, this one is something is holding it in. Not sure what though. Again, I don't want to start ripping things apart because, you know, plastic is getting a little brittle. Okay. What am I missing that's obvious here? Either that or you're just cranky because you haven't touched up. My fault. There's a little pin on top here. Or something was holding it on the top, but again, the Compaq Plus that I had was really enjoyed. Okay. So let's flip you up a little more this way here. So we got two screws. One over here. And one over here. Let's get the motherboard out. So, again, I'll do this one just off camera, but you can see my lovely hand moving over here. Or arm, I should say. So I'm going to take this off. Actually, you know what? This one I'm going to scroll over here. And, sorry, pardon the mess on the wall there. Take that off there, and then let's move in a little more. There we go. So I got the top two off. This one here is the protector for the connector. And you can see this one actually slides off. I don't have to take all the screws off on this one, which is rather interesting. Of course, I spoke too soon. There we go. So let's get a good look here. I'm going to flip the camera this way. See if I can get it. Okay, there we go. We got a better angle here. I'm not too high, but there we go. I'll point it down for a sec there. So obviously this is the power connector. And then down here's the speaker. So we'll take the speaker out. And then I'm just going to grab, I know it's keyed, but sometimes it's just easier seeing the top here. Sometimes it's just like marking these things. There we go. And then we can take this guy out. Last but not least is this one, and that's the keyboard connector. And that is, oh, sorry guys. That is the only pain with this computer, is that the keyboard is hardwired in, and you can't really change it on the fly. If you look at some of the other portable computers, they have like a phone connector you can plug in. This one is not. There we go. So we got that out. Let me move you back up here. I'm going to pause you first. Oh, maybe I don't need to pause. From this angle, it looks a little warped. I guess it is a little. And this metal is a little flimsy. Anyways. Oh, sorry. I didn't see these two screws. One, two. Now the big question is, this is part of the fun I always have getting computers, is what's in it? What modifications have been done? What secrets are we holding? So let's take this guy out. And I was hoping there was a math coprocessor in here, but hey, it is what it is. AMD processor. Again, motherboard looks pretty clean. Slight layer of dust on it, but no, it looks pretty good there. So I'll put that in the safe pile. So now we got this here, and then it's hard to see. Let me just try to get that one. Whoops. So what I want to show you here, this is the keyboard connector, and it literally goes through a pipe as a conduit. And that goes to the front, right into the keyboard. Kind of a neat way of doing it. And I mean, literally, it's a metal pipe. Nothing plastic here. Okay, I'm going to flip this guy around. Just need a little bit more space, and we'll try to get the power supply out. Okay, so this is as far back as I can go with the camera. Anyways, so from what I remember, you can see the power supply is right here. And you got another little, well, that's the cavity for the power cord. So from what I remember with my Compaq Plus is this whole thing comes out first. And then you can see the power supply is actually on small little standoffs except for that securing screw. So we're going to take these guys out. Oh yeah, I just saw it shift. I don't know if you saw that. So we're going to take this screw out, take this screw out. Oh, sorry, I got a little, there we go. And then, oh, of course, Phillips. Okay, what else do I need here? I'm assuming this one up here. Sorry, the camera's in the view here, or in the way, I should say. Got it. Oh, I should mention that other screw I dropped in there I did catch earlier. I forgot to mention that. Okay. So this is just a little fan shelf. So this one here comes out too. So that one I didn't have to take out all the way. It's on a clip there. Okay. So there goes the fan. I just need to take this little guy here out. And give me 1 second. I'm just going to switch the bits. So I kind of made a small mess with all the extra parts here. There we go. feels factory fresh. Okay. Then I got a ground wire in there. I'm just gonna cheat with the pliers. Yeah, maybe I won't. Oh, there we go. And of course, there are two nuts, double secure. Oh, just realized the metal is sharp. Okay. Let's trim that a little bit more. Okay. And out this goes. Here's the ground strap. Oh, no, that was the washer. Okay, somewhere down there is the washer. I gotta remember to get that. Okay. I'm just gonna videograph this here, just so I remember what's happening. So we got... Okay. So the black is the fan. Ooh. And these ones are the leads, or the mains, depending where you're from. And then I'm going to take off this one here. I remember getting this power supply out as a pain. Oh, right. Okay. I remember now. Sorry, let me get this out of its holder here. So this is the ultimate fun with this computer. You got, that's the retaining nut for the power supply. And it's all the way over there. So I'm going to go back in with the socket set. I'll be right back. Let me just match one up and I'll see you in a couple seconds. So I found the socket we need. It's a, where is it here, sorry. 5/16. Oop, it's out of focus. I'll take my word for it. It's a 5/16. I'm going to try to get in there without breaking anything. Okay, I loosened it at least. Again, sometimes I like just going in with my hand. It's just easier. You get a better feel. Of course, I get more of a chance to drop it. Well, almost. Speaking of which, let's pull this wire back a little bit here. Okay. Now the good thing with this one, I forgot until just now, it's like a push-in type. It won't actually come out, so no danger of it falling in. Now this is unplugged and that's been on for a bit, so we should be able just to lift this little guy up. Come on, there we go. Well, almost. There we go. Squeaky. Okay, I'm going to pull back a little here. So the bottom of the board looks good. I don't see any burn marks. It's usually something I check after, but let's take a look on the top side here. I wish I had something better to put it on, but no. Okay. Well, Nothing stands out in terms of being totally broken or anything. Again, looks pretty clean. So these two are the line in and the fan over here. Okay. Well, I'm going to sign off for a few minutes. I'm going to inspect this visually a little bit better. And I'll be right back. Oh, again, we lost the focus. There we go. Okay. I'll be right back. Moving on with our diagnostics, I took the liberty of removing the power supply. I figured there's no point documenting it, just pull out the wires and off we go. So I have my trusty dusty multimeter from the 90s, again, Radio Shack. Have it set for continuity mode here. And you can see it beeps and you get some readings. I'm going to try, I figure it's going to be one of these MOVs, I'm hoping. Because they're supposed to short out to protect the rest of the power supply if something goes wrong. And again, you have the power coming in here. So, I'm not even going to bother flipping it. I'll just grab it from the other solder leads here. Oh, look at that, first one. And let's try the other one here. Interesting. So I got two MOVs that are showing short, so that could be my problem there. Okay, well, the next step is to take them out. We'll try the board quickly and see what happens, and we'll take it from there. Continuing on, I checked the schematics from the SAM's service manual for the Compaq Plus, and I realized those are not MOVs. There's some kind of like a thermistor control system, and there's a whole section on how to check the power supply. So the first one says check the bridge rectifiers. So I got my brand new pocket oscilloscope out, and of course trusted dusty Radio Shack here. Let's fire this thing up, see what we got. Okay, so that's the AC signal coming in. And let's take a look here. So I've added little writing and stuff on here to look what to look for. So this is the positive. Actually, you know what? Let's go here first. So that's the AC connector to the first bridge rectifier. So there's that one. Ooh, that's interesting. Nothing on that side. Unless they're half waves. I'll have to look further into this. But anyways, so the positive, yeah, I'm only getting a half wave rectifier going on. And the negative, so there's the negative dip. There's the positive. And nothing over here. This is the second bridge rectifier. Hopefully it's showing up there. And as you can see, it's the same pattern, but this is on the plus and the minus. Okay, let's switch this over to DC mode here. Okay, so I got channel 2 here in DC. Oh, even with DC, I'm only getting half rectifier. Here we're getting full wave, just shift it up. And that's full wave shifted down. Okay. Whoop. So I have the meter out. It's set for EC mode. Let's hope it is. 1 second here. Yep, let's turn it off. I think I hit the wrong button. There we go. Okay. So I'm not set for AC. So I was told we should be getting 300 volts AC across the two bridge rectifier points on the first one. And let's see what we're getting here. 48 volts. Okay. So there is a good possibility here that the power supply is totally, well, not totally kaput, but I mean, the bridge rectifiers will have to be replaced. Okay, so let's order some parts. I think in the meantime I might get brave and take apart the Compaq Portable Plus and steal its power supply. Actually, I'm going to do that. So I'll be back in a bit with the second power supply, and I'll see you again. Sometimes when you just one of the parts and you get a little crazed to get this stuff done, you do things you might regret later. Well, for me, I pulled the power supply out of the Compaq Portable Plus. And that's why we got the music playing. By the way, that's from the Haley mission. So this one I've already recapped. Replaced some capacitors. I think I replaced all the tantalums as well. I know I replaced the voltage regulators. You can see this one had an X on it. It was previously blown. Found a tag on the Compaq Portable Plus. It belonged to the one of the ministries of Ontario. I can't remember which one now. I think it was Ministry of Corrections or something. So that one had a lot of use on it. And where is it here? You can see on the bottom, there's a little bit of char mark on it. But I know the power supply works. I tested it before I took it out. And then we got the original here. You can see the size of the size difference of the capacitors. So quite interesting. So I'm going to do some tests. Not so much. Actually, no, I should do this. We should compare waveforms and whatnot. Okay, stand by and we'll hook up a scope. We have the scope hooked up. So let's power this guy up here. Okay, so we got our waveform. And let's take a look here. Okay, so this is the positive from the other one. Oh, look at that. So it is half rectification. Interesting. And then this one gave me a full ripple. Oops. Got a full ripple there. And a full ripple there. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it looks like it's not the bridge rectifiers in the other one. So I wonder if something is shorting outputs here. Okay, sorry, I blanked out there for a second. Totally zoned out. Yeah, I don't recall if I actually tested the line outs on the other power supply. Okay, let's reconnect that. I'm going to put you back on hold here. And then we'll just do a small little voltage check on the outputs and see what happens. So here we are with the original again. Okay, let's power you up. Okay, got my waveform, and I'm only doing that to remind me that it's on so I don't touch things. So we have over here the DC out, and I got my meter on DC mode, so let's take a look here. So I should get 5 here, and I'm getting nothing. These are the 12s. Let's see if the 12's running. Nope. Nope. Okay. Put you on pause again for a sec. I'm going to switch out the boards. Okay. So now we have the Compaq Portable Plus board on. Let's fire you up. Here's my signal. Okay, let's see what we got coming out of here. So these are grounds. There should be 5. And there it is. Whoop. Sorry, I slipped. Real 5 volts. This one I think was 5. Oh, that one's 12. This one should be minus 12 then. Yep. These are the grounds. This one was 5. This one was activate, which I think is also 5. Yeah. Okay, so that board is working. So that might tell me one of the... Well, something in between the rectifier going forward now is the problem. Okay, well, we'll save that for another day. We'll start using this one for this machine, because like I said before, this one is in much cleaner condition. And let's keep the party moving on. Before I go plugging in motherboards, oh, speaking of motherboards, there we go, better focused. So before I go plugging in motherboards, the million-dollar question is, well, what happened to the power supply? So obviously something killed it. As I mentioned before, these computers are notorious for having the tantalums short out and take something with it. Now, luckily, the power supply is supposed to be a little more, let's say, logical, and it'll shut down before anything happens. But I think something really happened bad, and that little guy, well, committed suicide. So, let's start looking at caps here. And I guess I'll start this way and work my way over. And I am using my 1995, I think is when I got this, my Radio Shack multimeter, only because I know how to use it almost inside out. And I do know the oscilloscope has a multimeter function along with the continuity circuit tester, but again, I'm so used to this one, so I'll just use this. We got the beep. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Oops, I don't know if I slipped or... No, that was because I slipped. Oh, found one. C77. So I'll go back and check that first one. So I think it was either I kind of slipped on it or I hit something, but let's double check it. Well, I don't know if you can see it. Let me take a look at the camera here. Yeah, you should be able to see it. So if I connect any kind of capacitor here, the bottom graph usually moves on me to show me that I connected something. I didn't see that with the first one, but again, that's probably me. Okay, well, I can flip that around later and take a look at it. Let's take a look at the rest of them here. Nothing. 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 Can't get that one. Nothing there. And there's one more right here. Okay. So we have one bad cap. Now, generally, I replace them all because, well, they're 40 years old. But at least we're narrowing down what's happened to this thing. Okay, more parts to order, and I'll be back probably in a while. Recapping is done. Everything looks good. Let's fire this puppy up on a test bench and see what we can see. So the motherboard temporarily in. I put the power supply and everything back properly because, well, we know the... out of zoom. Sorry, out of range there. There we go. So we know the power supply works because it's from the Compaq Plus. Everything else is stock to the Compaq Portable, with the exception of the fan, because I figured this is just testing. I did install one of these diagnostic cards. Right, they're cheap off of Amazon, and they give you basic information. So at least I can see if this thing does power up. I can get maybe something from the ISA slot. I mean, there is a little power lid over here, but, you know, it's just a power lid. Okay, let's turn this thing on and see what blows up. 1, 2, 3. And nothing. Why? Why? Okay. Back to the drawing board. So I've been doing some experimenting here. I unplugged the motherboard, turned on the power supply, and everything's working, which is what we expected. But again, I just want to make sure the power supply wasn't fried. So now it's something on the motherboard, and I started measuring all the different voltage inputs against the ground to find if there's a short. So I am getting a short on the minus 12 and the plus 12, which is, I think, these two here. Hard to tell. Anyways, doesn't matter, but it's the 12 volts seems to be a little bit on the upset side. I found over here, and I disconnected on purpose. Let me just zoom in a little better here. There we go. So C75 is a dead short. I thought it was a capacitor. It's not. So now I'm going to take off the rails and do some further inspection as to what is shorting across C75, if it's not the capacitor itself. I'll be back. And hello again. So I need to apologize. I went into a deep dive off screen here and started checking schematics, again using the SAM's service manual. It's got everything you need on it. And the strange thing here, give me one sec, let me find, I'll use this like as a pointer. And I'll move this guy up a little here so we can see what's happening. So it's usually the problems over here, and it's this capacitor that seems to be having a lot of issues. So I tracked it down, and hopefully you can see it. This is the 12 volt, the positive 12 volt side. It only goes, like, there's no chips or anything on here that uses 12 volts. It's strictly for the ISA sockets and the keyboard. So it kind of goes this way. Looking at the schematics, it's B9, which is on this side, is the actual pin that provides the 12 volts into the ISA socket. And I'm thinking there's got to be something strange going on here because it keeps having problems on the 12 volts, but there's nothing here using 12 volts. Then I thought these guys over here, because they're listed as L, I thought they were inductors. They're just literally shunt wires, which is why it just has the one band on it. They don't really do anything. It's literally a 0 ohm shunt. And then I figured there's got to be something off with the sockets. So I took it upstairs with me, and I'm staring at it, and I no longer have it. I dropped it, but there's a small piece of something inside here shorting the B9 pin. So I fished it out with some tweezers. It looked like a small little piece of metal, almost like you can get those wire brushes for cleaning. It looked like one of those little hairs that were stuck in there. No idea how it got in there. It might have been there all this time, and then with time it just kind of shifted down. Anything is possible. But anyways, I took it out. So I'm going to plug this thing in. We're going to modify the back here a little bit, and I'll be right back, and we'll see what happens. Forgive the leaning angle here. I got it leaning against the chassis here, just so I can get power into it. Let's get you back here. Okay. So if all goes well, this little red light should come on, telling me that it's actually stable, and we can move forward. So here you go. 1, 2, 3. Hey! It is stable. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to try my little postcard again. Let's see what this one says. I'll put it over here. Okay, that one says nothing. Okay, give me a second. I just realized something. I think this one here was kind of dead at one point. So let me switch it out. I have 2 of these. Be right back. So this one's a little more advanced. It does have a remote LED segment screen you can put out so you can actually watch what's happening if it's hard to see. And it's got different status indicators. So I'll put this one here in. And you won't be able to see the screen. Just so we can see this together. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hey, it does turn on. Sorry, a little. There we go. Hard to see, it's just dashes. I think it just means nothing's happening, there's no errors, and it's in a post mode. Okay, so that's a good sign. Let's put the motherboard back into the chassis. We'll plug the screen in and see what happens. Okay, moment of truth. All I have is just the video card connected along with my little postcard here. So let's turn this guy on. Okay, we have a power light, at least on the floppy. That's something new. Now I don't have the floppy controller connected, so we're not going to see any activity or anything. I don't see the screen on. That's sad. Okay, maybe the screen's dead. Whoa, we got a beep. Hey! Okay. So the screen works. It's just it's out of... not quite phase, but the screen sizing needs adjustment. Yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah, let's see if I hit... where's the turn this thing? I think this keyboard's also dead like my other one. That's a shame. I was hoping at least the keyboard would work. Okay, well that's a good sign. I'm going to adjust the screen. I don't think I have any floppies for this, but... Okay, anyways, totally good news. It's working. And I'll be back with... I'm not sure I'll be back with something. Be right back. Here we are again. So I put the cards back in. So in sequence from the back of the CRT, basically. There's a floppy card, Then I have the video card, and then a little further down there's the multi-IO card that has the RAM expansion on it. Now I goofed earlier, I thought this was a 128K machine, it's 256. So I got 256 on board, 384 on the card, giving me a total of a whopping 640. So that's pretty loaded for an XT back then. Now let's fire this little guy up here. Yeah, I forgot to plug the fan in, so we're not going to use this too long. But again, for testing purposes, it'll be fine. And I'm going to wait for the screen to come on properly before I adjust it. And then we'll have to wait a little bit here, because it is counting 640, and it's off to the side here somewhere. If I can see it. No. It's way off. But it is counting 640. So we'll have to wait for that to count through. We should hear a nice beep, and then hopefully some floppy activity. Any second. Hey, there we go. Okay. So it looks like it's alive. And I got my plastic monitor adjusting tools here. Let me just find one that's what's up there. Should be a flat one in here somewhere. There we go. So there's a collection of these kind of tools. Because you don't want to use magnetic ones or anything metal, because it will have a little bit of a magnetism to it. And then when you adjust it, it throws it off a bit. This one shouldn't be too bad because... well, let me move the camera. I'll put you guys on hold again, one sec. So this one shouldn't be too bad, because all the pots are over here this time. Sometimes you have them, they're a little further in and they're a little more sensitive, but still I'd rather just use a nice plastic piece and it just fits right in there like that. And then I'm going to stick my head over this way and see what I need here. So the final video segment here. Let's turn this guy on. Oh, I should mention I found a floppy disk I had in my IBM PC Junior. I don't think it's bootable, but we'll try it. So here we go. We heard the drive click. Yay, cool. So now we have a cursor, so we can see it's doing something. The one thing I never liked about the Compaqs were the fact that it doesn't show the RAM count, it just sits there blinking. So it'll beep if it's good, or it'll beep twice or three times I think it is if it's bad, but it would be nice if it actually had a count on it so you know what's happening. Or at least where you are in the count sequence. Okay, so definitely not bootable. Now, press any key. Never could find the any key. The old joke there. I was hoping at least one of these keys would work. As I mentioned before, these things, actually, I'll put you on pause, I'll show you. One sec. Okay, sorry about that. So I bought these a while ago. So I got these from Texelec. And they're just literally the foam pads, you peel them off, they're adhesive. And each one of these keys have one. So that'll be the fun part, is taking the keyboard apart, and as I said I have two of them, so fixing two of them will be more interesting. But that's where we're at. But I mean, the good thing is we got the power going. It's actually responding. It's turning on. So I'd call this a success. So I'm going to put most of this back together, put the fan back in, and we'll move on to episode number 2, where I think I'll modify this a bit. I'll put a V20 in and see what else I can do. Maybe a Picomem. Yeah, I might steal a Picomem from my other machine. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with the first video and all the silliness that I'm going through. I'm learning as I go, and this will be fun. See you in the next episode.